Well, good day. Good day. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Financial Fitness, brought to you by Hope Fellowship Church, the Victory Center in Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm Pastor Derek T. Triplett, proud to lead such a great people. We're excited about the opportunity to come and to share with you on today on Money Matters, financial fitness, how financially fit are you? We're excited about this opportunity. And let me just say off the bat that I want to thank Pastor Faye Datsey. This has been a brainchild of hers, and she has facilitated this. So we are here every first Saturday with a different aspect of how we in the body of Christ need to be financially fit. And so we're excited about today. Our guests today are going to blow your mind away. And so we look forward to bringing them on in just a moment. I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things for me. I'm going to ask you to like and to share, whether you're watching it live or on demand. I'm going to ask you to like and to share, and so that we can get information out to people. Here's what I understand. Information is power. Information is power. Information is power. I think it was Francis Bacon that said knowledge is power, but we live in an information age. The Bible says that people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. There's just some things that unfortunately we just don't know. And in many cases, it's generational. And in the area of finances, especially in the urban community, we have been destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And so I'm excited and I'm appreciative of Pastor Faye for making sure that we get the information that we need, and look forward to us being able to all be better. In Hope Fellowship Church, the Victory Center, we have decided that we're going to be winners. We're going to learn how to win. We're going to learn how to win in life, not just in church, not just at church, but we're going to learn how to win in life. And that's why we have 4 different components of the Victory Center. We are the Victory Worship Center. We worship God in spirit and in truth. We are the Victory Training Center. This financial fitness comes in under the arm of the Victory Training Center, as we are training people how to win at life. We are the Victory Service Delivery Center, where we export the answers to human problems, whether it's feeding, clothing, whether it's mentoring, education. The list goes on and on. As things that are part of our mission and our vision. And then finally, we are a safe place to grow. And so it's 2 of those 4 that come to fruition on today. One being that it is important that we train. It is important that we train. It is important that we have persons who are experts who can help us in the process. It's important that we train, and that's what our financial fitness seminars are about. But then secondly, it is important that we are a safe place to grow. So wherever you are when it comes to handling your money, wherever you are when it comes to handling your finances, we're saying to you that we are a place where you can come and be a safe place to grow. And so it is important for us to do that. And money is funny. Money is really, really funny. It is really, really funny because there's such emotion tied to it. And so we can struggle in the area of finance in many cases because and continue to struggle because we don't want anybody to know we're struggling. And so the whole fake it till you make it thing starts to come out, and man, and if you're like me, man, fake it till you make it only lasts for so long. It only lasts for so long. And so it's very, very, very important that we make sure that we don't hide because of embarrassment, that we don't hide because we've made mistakes in the past with our finances, that it's important that we have what we need in order to make things happen so that we can change it. And so today, we have with us today uh, a father and son team, Black Wall Streeter Consultation Services was started by the father and son team of Kevon and Kamari Chisolm in 2018. Uh, in November of 2020, the father and son duo launched a separate entity, Junior Wall Streeters Incorporated, a nonprofit whose motto is empowering youth with financial wellness. Kevon is a native of Newark, New Jersey. He is a 1997 graduate of Seton Hall University Law School. He has also earned a master's degree with honors in African American Studies at Yale in 1994. He was awarded a baccalaureate degree in economics from Drew University in 1991. Kevon's passion is uplifting and forwarding African American community through knowledge of self and wealth building. So we're talking Drew University, Yale University, and Seton Hall. So we've got a wealth of talent, a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of understanding here. Black Wall Streeters Consulting Services primarily, their goals are to decrease the wealth gap between African Americans and white Americans. They focus on two areas to accomplish this goal. Number one, helping others build wealth through investment clubs. And number two, empowering youth with financial wellness, which includes their financial literacy and investment curriculum and materials. Kevon's book, which is entitled Financial Legacy, Building Wealth Through Investment Clubs, has sold over 500 copies, and the book is available in print and electronic form. I'm excited to bring the Wall Streeter and the Junior Wall Streeter to us on today. Listen, I want you to really like and share, get somebody. You might need to text somebody. They may not be online today. And so they may not get the notification. So I need you to go ahead and text them so that we can take advantage of the wealth of information that is going to be shown to us today. Listen, a couple other things that I want us to really point out is, number one is all of us start somewhere. And this is a place for us to start on today. And so we are excited about it. So I need you all to go ahead. And I know people are doing a lot of things on Saturday morning. And I remember, man, it's 10 o'clock. Man, growing up, we'd be finishing breakfast and then have a list of chores that we needed to make sure that we got done. Man, do y'all remember that? Man, and wasn't no money to be made in those lists of chores. You just did those chores and to keep from having consequences. There were consequences if you did not take care of those chores. So I'm excited. Kevon and Kamari will be with us in just a minute. And I want you to put your questions in the chat. We want to answer as many questions as we can. We're working on a couple technical issues on today. And so but right, D, you did those chores or else. So I want you to put your questions in the chat on today. Listen, make sure that you take notes, because a lot of times we get information and we say, oh, that was a good seminar. That was a really good seminar. That was a really good seminar. And then we don't put it into action. And how many seminars have you paid for? Hundreds of dollars have you paid for and got all the binders and all the books and all of that and got the notes, and that stuff is on a shelf. We want to get better. We want to make sure that we get better. So we want to use the information that we have so that we can make sure that we're getting better. Because we that's my personal mantra: be even better. We want to make sure that we are better. So I want to encourage you. Please share. Please share, so that we can get this information out to all of our partners who are part of the family of hope. I'm hoping that you are taking advantage of all of this information and that you are, because we want to be better in our finances. Here's the reality. Some of us struggle with this scripture, but there is a scripture that says money answers all things. And so it's very, very important that we get our money straight. We got to get our money straight. We got to get our money straight. It's important that we get our money straight. And it takes information, it takes discipline, and it takes assistance. And so it's very, very important that we use utilize the information that we have in order to get this done. Listen, we are getting ready to bring on Kamari and Kevon momentarily, but it's important for us to just make sure that we are ready for them. And so I want you to make sure that you get that information. I'm going to do something that I should not do, and that is to drink on camera, but I desperately need it right now. And so I need to do that. You all will please forgive me. And so couple things. Let's see, who do we have here? I see Dee, I see Sister Janet, God bless you. Pastor Piper Williams, God bless you. Sister Kashana James, God bless you. I see my mother, good morning, good morning, good morning. And yeah, I'll probably have to have a conversation about that later. And so I see the professor on. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sister Felicia, good morning, good morning. Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in. We're getting ready. Y'all come on in. Excited about what we are about to share. You all come on in. Come on in. Come on in. And so we're excited. Where are the fellas? Demetrius is holding it down for all the fellas. It's just me and you. And where are the fellas? Where are the fellas? Where are the fellas? We need the fellas to come on in so that we can lead in the areas of finances. Right. Where are the fellas? Let's see. Good morning, Pastor Faye. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And so we're working out a couple of challenges, but we are ready and excited about the information that we're going to learn on today. I want to thank all of our persons who've made this possible. And this is the brainchild of Pastor Faye Datsy, and we're excited that she brings this information to us on a monthly basis. And so let me introduce Mr. Kevon Chisolm as well as Mr. Kamari Chisolm, and we're getting ready to tap into the brains of the Black Wall Streeter and the Junior Wall Streeter. And so we're excited about that at this time. Amen. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Let me just say thank you for being a part of our financial fitness forums, and we're excited that you have put this time together and allowed us to infringe on your Saturday morning. We appreciate it so very much. I know Kamari's got more things to be doing than talking to us on a Saturday morning, but we're excited that you have made this time. I've got just a slew of questions that I want to ask the two of you. But first of all, let me make a statement. Um, as a father, as a black father of black children, I applaud you and celebrate you, Mr. Chisholm. I applaud you to
Thank you.
the presentation of you and your son in the area of finance is incredible, and I am thankful for the representation that you all are. And I just off the bat, I wanted to say thank you for just who you are, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor.
Let me ask this question. For you, Kevon, how did the whole commitment to financial literacy and wealth building start? That's not something that happens in enough black homes. Is it something that you got growing up? Is it something that happened later in your education pursuit? What was the genesis of this?
Yes, Pastor. So, no, I'm definitely a direct descendant, I like to say, of financial illiteracy. Financial illiteracy was passed down to me. I was raised by a single mom, and she just did not, no fault of hers. She just had no knowledge, and so I had to learn the hard way. I went to college, and within the first month of college, I had 3 credit cards,
Right?
and I just went on a shopping spree like any other 18-year-old, I guess, and I was in debt right away. And so my wife and I did not want to pass on that same experience on the Kamari and others. So actually, this whole vision started in Orlando, Florida. Actually, 3 years.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way, we've been to Daytona a couple times. We went to the Vince Carter, sent Kamari to the Vince Carter basketball camp. And
Okay.
yeah, we have family. My family is in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
My
we,
son played in that camp as well.
oh, is that right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so what actually happened is so I'm also the president of our family investment club, which has been around for 17 years. And I wanted to talk about investment clubs most importantly. So I went to a conference, a national investment club conference, and I walked in the room. It was about 500 people. And I said that I left that conference saying there's not enough African Americans involved in investment clubs and building wealth. And I came back. The vision was started there, and I immediately drafted a plan. And later that summer, I enrolled Kamari in his first financial literacy camp. It
Wow.
was a stock portfolio camp at the time, and he was 11, and that's when this journey started for us.
Wow. Kamari, tell me about when your dad came and said, I'm enrolling you into this camp. This is what we're doing. How did you receive that? Are you like, Dad, what are we doing? What camp? Another basketball camp? Or what are we doing?
Yeah, at first I didn't really like the idea of a stock camp because that summer all I've been doing is sports camps. Um, but my dad told me I needed to have some diversity. I couldn't just be all sports. So I went to this camp, and funny enough, there was basketball there, and you know, I like the camp because it wasn't just all stock literacy 24/7. There was some room with other students to play around, and there were games like stock games, and I think that helped me get started on stock literacy.
I love it. Now, Kevon, you when you had this epiphany, you immediately included your son. Why?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You did. That was kind of your question in the beginning because I did not want that financial illiteracy legacy sort of to continue, and I wanted him to learn early on. And actually, he came to me and he wanted me to buy him a car. And actually, he can
At
tell the
11?
story better. Yeah, he saw this car. He said when he was old enough to drive. He said when he was old enough to drive, right? So the first part is I wanted it to stop with us, right? I wanted him to learn about finances. Was the first
Mhm.
part. The second part, I felt like if I included him in my business venture, he could inspire hopefully other kids, and he could learn about what it is and how it is to run his own business someday. But I'll let him share his story when he came to me with this car idea, that he wanted me to buy us to buy when he was old enough to drive.
Kamari, so you had vision. You had, at 11, you like, this is what I want at 16. So we need to get this. Talk to me about that vision.
Well, I was 11 and I saw a YouTube video, and this YouTuber had a nice shiny Lamborghini. So then I asked my dad, I was like, "Hey, can I have that car when I'm old enough to drive?" And he was like, "You can. I'm not gonna get you that car, but I show you how to invest in the stock market. So maybe when you're old enough to drive, you'll have enough money by yourself in the stock market."
That's vision. 11
Right.
years old, Lamborghini. Not,
Lamborghini.
not, not, you know, Camaro, not Lamborghini at 11. Amazing, amazing. Now let's get into Black Wall Streeter consulting services and both kind of arms of that. Um, when we talk about closing the wealth gap between blacks and whites, you approach that two ways. Talk to me about how that happens.
Yeah, so we started off as Black Wall Street Consultation Services, and that is my vision. That was my vision to decrease the wealth gap. So right now, the latest statistics, and they change and they'll change again, is the average African American's net wealth is $17,100. The average net wealth for white Americans is $174,100. So that's a big gap, right?
Wow.
Right. And it's even worse in certain cities, like in Boston. The net wealth for African Americans is $8, and the net for whites is $248,000. And a friend of mine texted that to me early this year, and I thought she forgot the one
Yeah.
in 18. So I went and researched and found the article. So in Boston, so certain cities, and not only probably Boston, other cities, there's a lot of systematic racism that people are dealing with. So when we started, when we started Black Wall Street 3 years ago, and actually our first event was at a church. It was at a
Okay.
church in New Jersey, and our primary goal was adults, encouraging adults to build wealth by starting investment clubs. When investment clubs, you invest in the stock market, you just pool your resources, right? Because we as individuals don't have enough money. Some, not all, just some of
Right.
us to invest. So, and it decreases the risk, right? If you get a pool of 10 to 20 people come together, put $50 a month, save it for a year, save it while they're learning about how the stock market and other industries work, then invest it, right? Because we've had tremendous success over the last 17 years. We've earned well over $350,000, and that's light, right? Because we take
Right.
money out, right? So there's clubs that exist in some white communities that have over $1 million. So we were on that path for 2 years, just trying to go to different organizations that would allow us to talk about investment clubs. But the doors closed. I mean, so we had to pivot or we wouldn't really be in business. So I said, you know what? And the reason is because us as a community, it's only about 25% of African Americans that invest in the stock market outside of
Right.
their real estate account, right? And even then, many of us that have not real estate accounts, retirement accounts. outside of our retirement accounts, right? We don't invest in the stock market. How do I know? One, or we don't monitor our retirement accounts that are associated with the stock market. How do I know? Because I used to do that, right? So, and so we found that when I was approaching different organizations to let us in to just speak, many of us were afraid of the stock market, didn't know about the stock market, and didn't want to really learn about it, right? So that's when I said, you know what, we need to pivot. We need to go to our youth. We need to educate our youth. And so I launched the Junior Wall Street component, empowering our youth, right? And our slogan was today's investors started yesterday, because we are behind. We are behind as a community, right? And so our goal is to teach our youth, right? And that's the funny thing about that, is that parents welcome that idea, even though they didn't know. Some sent their kids. So our first financial literacy and investing camp last summer, we had over 100 campers that we taught them basic. We always start with basic financial literacy. And then we get into investing, and that's an issue with some, because some people want to just jump into investing thinking it's quick money, right? But if you make all that money, what are you going to do with it, right? Like, because many times we don't have emergency funds, right? We run into a disaster. We have to use our credit cards. We have to take out loans. We have to do all sorts of things. So we want to teach basic financial literacy, budgeting, credit, banking. Like, again, many of us don't have bank accounts. We're unbanked. So we teach our kids that, let's start with this, right? Let's start with having a bank account. What is a bank account? How do I know? Again, I did not have a bank account until I was 18 in college. Although I had a job 3 years before, I used to go to a check cashing place. And so in that regards, right, Pastor, that's, and then now we take a look at it, and we teach our kids this, like, we take a look at our communities. Why are there pawn shops? Why are there payday loan places? Why are there check cashing places? Who go to a place to cash their checks? Right. And these businesses are in our community just taking advantage of us because we are financially illiterate.
They're predators.
Right, predators. Right, they are predators. And hey, if that business plan, they're benefiting, right? But we found that in our summer camps that, you know, kids are opening up bank accounts. Some kids are opening up brokerage accounts. They're investing. And the more we can encourage others to do that, we can decrease that wealth gap.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about that, and then I want to jump back into some of the nuts and bolts of investment clubs. But Kamari, what, knowing what you know, how prepared do you feel in that sense? Is when you talk to your other friends, is there, are you able to have conversations that they're not able to have, or are you in a group of friends that, you know, are learning the same kind of things that you're learning? How does that flesh out as a 14-year-old now?
I feel very prepared, because a lot of people my age, a lot of people I go to school with, don't really know a lot about the stock market. And you know, a couple months ago, me and my friends went out to shovel snow, and we were shoveling snow for maybe 10 hours, and we made a combined $100. Or maybe we combined $200, and we split it, so we made $200. But in that week alone on the stock market, I made over $200, and that's just I didn't. You know, my back was sore. I was sore after the day, and I was just sitting back, and I didn't do anything. And I made more money, or the same amount of money that I did shoveling snow. And then, you know, another story, I was making lemonade with my friends, and we only made like $50. And that week, I made twice as much as that. So there's situations where at the stock market, you can make more money, and it's passive income money, you know, working for you while you're sleeping. I'm not doing anything, but I'm making money. And, you know, I'm trying to teach my friends, you know, that you can make more money, and you don't have to do lemonade stands, rake leaves, shovel snow, and you can make more money and have less labor.
Yeah, that sore back reminded you, hey, wait a minute, I've got some passive income over here that I could take advantage of. I'm gonna ease up on this shovel for a while. You know, let's talk about investment clubs, because as I was preparing for the interview, I thought about the fact that, you know, that we really don't, as you say, we really don't past our retirement accounts. And then the issue for many of us is one is the lack of knowledge, but then getting the knowledge gets into a pride thing, you know, because I see all of the errors I've made and the mistakes I've made, and it just becomes easier not to dig into those negative feelings of self-worth and that type of thing. So I'm dealing with pride, I'm dealing with lack of knowledge, but I'm also dealing with the fact that this might take a while. So that cocktail of time, pride, and lack of knowledge, you mix that together, and we'll continue to stay away from something that should benefit us. But investment clubs seems to, if I'm hearing you, seems to mitigate some of that. Talk to me about just the whole benefit and concept of investment clubs.
Yeah, sure, Pastor. So investment clubs been around since the 1940s, and early on, the first one was actually started in Detroit, and they lasted for 64 years. And at one point, that investment club was had a net wealth of over $7 million. Right. So during the present, if we were in person, what I would ask my audience, I would say, how did this investment club last for 64 years? And when I talk to the kids, one of the questions too, I asked them is, how did they do that? And one of the ways they did that is it was generational wealth, right? They passed down members of their families joined this club, and Kamari will join our investment club. I mean, the way it's going now, he might become the next president. You know, that's because then that's just a lack of our interest from other family members. But you know, we hope that he would make that decision. So right, you touched upon all the issues that we face in dealing with money, right? Our fear and mistakes. Look, I've been doing this for over 20 years, investing, and I still make mistakes. You know, I tell you one thing, like for example, my wife. She loves Chipotle, right? The restaurant she loves, and I'm not
Mine
really.
too. Mine too.
Yeah, and so when they first came out, you know, like I think they've been around for maybe 15 years. I still think about this. You know, if my wife was going in long lines, if we would have invested in Chipotle back then, I mean, we'd be millionaires. It's over $1,300 for one share of Chipotle. Can you imagine that restaurant? They doing really well, right?
Same mistake I made with Wawa.
Right. Yeah, when they first came around, right?
They are popping up everywhere in Florida.
Yeah. So you think about that, and we all have those stories of what we could have did, right? So that's what an investment club does. It helps you because you get a group of people to come together, and like-minded people have a common goal. Let's say we're going to invest our money for 5 years consistently, not take anything out. We're going to meet once a month, and then you just decide what topics you want to meet. And some of the things could be your fear of money, your fear of losing money, right? And everyone would just kind of participate and deal with that, just like kind of understand their members' concerns, right? And try to welcome each other and share their stories. The next meeting you'll talk about, let's say, life insurance. You know, that's another thing. We have life insurance, but we don't have enough life insurance. I always encourage young people when I talk to them, you know, you're 21, you're getting your first job, you get as much life insurance as you can, as young as you can, right? Because the earlier you get, that's more expensive it becomes, right? So then, right, and you're hesitant because in the stock market, believe me, you can and you probably will lose money. But once you're comfortable and understand that it's a long-term process, it's something quick. It's something that you can possibly enjoy, but you can also pass down to the next generation, right?
Now, who manages the fund? So you've got an investment club. You've got who's deciding, you know, what we're investing in and who's managing the fund?
The club. So the club, you
Okay.
choose members, right? So you have a president, a vice president, treasurer, and a secretary. And so this is nothing quick, Pastor. So this is like after a year of learning, right? Or
Right.
however much time you think you need, right? And this is beautiful because in the club you have different people with different experiences. So you may have an accountant, you may have an investment financial planner that already has the information. So they're just sharing this, right? And so then the club decides that, okay, we're going to make our first purchase. And you also would decide based on the risk, right? Some people may be a little hesitant. Like me, I'm really aggressive because I want to retire soon. But you do whatever most members are most comfortable with, right? And another way, and some people shun upon this idea, is if an investment club is uncomfortable with doing it themselves, they can always work with an advisor. To me personally, I'm not against that because I'm about us improving our financial situation. Most people say the club should do it themselves, but I'm like, if you're uncomfortable, then have an advisor work with the club. They're going to charge you a percentage, but you're still making money in the long run. So either way, I'll support either way.
I mean, two quick questions, Kamari. Now, your dad says that he's very aggressive. How is your investment strategy the same, or are you different? Are you a different kind of investor from your dad?
I'm a different kind of investor. I'm not investing in as high of stocks or ETFs. I'm more of like lower stocks, and when I do buy stocks or ETFs, I'm not buying a lot of shares partly because I don't have that much money to buy a lot of shares, and partly because I'm kind of low risk, high reward, and if I have a stock or an ETF and it's not performing well, I'll sell it, but maybe I'll wait 6 months until I sell it. I won't sell it right away. So I'm similar to my dad in the stocks, but I just don't buy as many stocks or ETFs.
That's amazing. I mean, and that's another kudos to you, Kevon, because not only have you taught him the rudiments, but he's able to think independently of you. That's powerful. That is amazing. That is amazing. Now, is it best to, because that sounds like a lot of information. Is it best to join an established club if you're just getting started, or is it best to get a group of people and start a club? How does that work?
Yes, Pastor, great question. If I can, I just want to add a little bit to that question you just asked Kamari. He's real modest. He's actually a little bit more aggressive than me, right? He had this stock, right? Zoomies. It's a clothing store in malls. That was one of his first stocks that he bought. Pastor, I tried to convince him to sell that stock because it was in the malls right during the pandemic, and the malls were closing. People were not going to the stock. I asked him 3 times, "Come on, you sure you don't want to sell the stock? You sure you don't want to sell it?" He did not sell that stock. He was like, "I do not know," and it benefited him in the long run because he kept it, and the stock went up right when the COVID first ended. The malls were open, and they were still doing real well with their online sales. So I'm glad he didn't take my advice. In the same time, right? I gave him an assignment in April. I said, I want you to find a stock that pays dividends, right? That is a stock that you own that regardless, they pay every 3 months, they pay you just for owning a stock. They pay you a percentage, right? He did his research. I kept reminding him. He chose Target.
Okay.
He chose Target. And I said, why'd you choose it? He could tell you why. I wish I'd have bought Target. It's like in the last in 3 months, he made over $250. And I'm like, why didn't I buy that?
Now, I know you have to do it respectfully and the like, Kamari, but when those kinds of things happen, how do you kind of flex on your dad? It's like, how do you show him, like, see, Daddy, I told you, I know you don't get in trouble, but Do you flex on him sometimes?
Yeah, I like to. Especially with some of my, I like Target because he wasn't really high on Target, and I like Zoomies because I kept Zoomies and I stuck with Zoomies even during the pandemic. But my dad, he's gave me a lot of advice because a lot of the stocks and ETFs I've had, he's already had, or he currently has. So I can get a good judgment, on how the stock or ETF is. But yeah, I like to take a lot of advice from my dad.
Great. Now, Kamar, you keep using the term ETF for audience who may not be familiar with the term. Can you explain that?
An ETF is an exchange traded fund, and it's basically like a basket of stocks put into one. So if I like Target, Walmart, Wegmans, and I just put it all in one basket, that's an ETF. And so
Okay.
ETFs would have a percentage of a stock in the ETF. So one of my ETFs is QQQ, and QQQ has a percentage of Amazon, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, and it has a small percentage, like 10%, some lower, some higher, and it's all put into basically one basket, and it's called an ETF.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Man, this kid is amazing. This kid is amazing. Um, Now, Kevon, let's get back to the whole issue of getting into a club. How do you choose a club? Do you start your own club? That kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. So what I would suggest that people do is when starting a club, join club with people that are your friends and family that are reliable. So you can. It might be best if you're just starting out to start a new club. But if
Okay.
there's a club that's local to you and and they're accepting members and you're willing to be the new member of the group, then by all means, some clubs are very open and welcoming to others. And Pastor, I'll be honest, it's not an easy journey in the beginning.
Hmm.
Like we had to remove family members that didn't pay their dues monthly to the club. So, but it's a learning experience for everyone because we all have family members that don't regularly pay their bills. So, I mean, they like I mean, they just don't and they comfortable with that sometimes, right? So you go, sometimes you have to remove members, but the important thing about an investment club, and I think people many times they confuse it with like a Ponzi scheme or
Right.
different types of pyramid schemes is the other word I'm
Right.
looking for. Investment clubs are registered businesses, so you would registered in the state of Florida, LLC or
Mm.
partnership. You have members, you file taxes, and most important thing is you all take out your money at the same time. It's not one person at a time. You vote and you vote on how much money you should take out. And one of the benefits for us in our investment clubs, my wife and I, we are actually the youngest members in our club, is that we can afford to pay for Kamari's college education. That is what our primary fund, our primary gains from our
Hmm.
investment club is. Like it was right until we put Kamari in a private school. So,
Hmm.
but we can use those funds. You mentioned that I'm an attorney and I work for the federal government. We're not wealthy. We just try to
Hmm.
every month we put into the club, and so that in the long run, we hope that we can use that to jumpstart Kamari's college career. Again, so like unlike us, we went to college with nothing. You know,
Right.
right? So our journey, so Kamari, he will not have that experience. He will go to college with something.
I looked at when looking at the information on your website. It talked about you know hey, this kind of stuff can pay for college tuition. It can get you your startup capital for starting a business. It can be a part of your retirement. And I think passive income is not something that we look at and attach it to certain outcomes. And so is it good to say I'm doing this for this reason? So this money I'm dedicating to my kids or grandkids education. I'm doing this for my retirement. Is that helpful to attach the club to a particular specific purpose?
I believe it is. It doesn't have to be, and it won't be for each member. Like we have members that are already retired, right? So we took out money. We took out money in February, and that money, one of our members had to get a new roof on her home, so that's where her money went. Our money went to Kamari's 529 plan, his college plan, right? And we're not all, my wife, she likes to, she's not a spender, but she likes to um, celebrate, to celebrate, she's a vegan, so a foodie, so it may be something like that. We don't just have a rigid budget is basically what I'm saying. So every member may have its own purpose, but if you think about it, Pastor, if you say, look, especially for college students that are listening, you say, look, and we all had it, Pastor. Now we talking about investing, but we all had it. Like in when I finished school in some 20 years ago, I had $80,000 in debt, right?
Wow.
From all 80, and that's like in those years, right? So $80,000 in debt. I paid it off in 5 years from what? Investing in stock market and real estate. Real estate is another one, real estate. So we did that, and I also paid for our wedding from investing in part of our wedding from our proceeds from investing in stock market. So you can have those members, right? I think it's really important to say, you know what, in 5 years, I want to pay off a certain percentage of my loans. I want to buy a house. It could be all different, but that determination, that motivation, that goal, that may motivate that individual not to miss a payment. Like, we haven't missed a payment for our club in over 15 years because we're determined. We have a long-term goal of what we plan to do with that.
Quick question, and Kamari, I've got a question for you in just a minute. So the club has its own bylaws and resolution, and it's filed as a corporate as an entity with the state.
Right.
And so there are. I mean, you go to attorney to get that done and get that drawn up. As far as one of the questions that that has been posed is there a benefit for seniors to be in investment clubs?
Yeah, that's a great question, Pastor. So it depends, right? If they just want to learn, some may just want to learn. But if we have,
they can pass it down.
Right, they could pass it down, the information, right? But if they want to leave a legacy to their grandchildren or their families, nieces and nephews, they can do that via the club. So it all depends on. Like I said, we have four. We had three. One recently passed away, but we have retired people that are part of our club, and they do it to supplement their retirement.
Okay.
Right, to what they already have. And like I said, one of the members who was retired, she fixed her roof on her home. She went to fix her roof. So yes, and we do that. We do all the legal work, the paperwork. As an attorney, I do that as far as formulating the club. So I think it could really benefit anyone that is interested in becoming more financially literate. It could benefit anyone.
Kamari, when you look at the how you do things now, and your dad and your mom with their investment club, and like your dad said, hopefully one day you'll be in the club and possibly be president. What improvement would you make? What have you already seen that you want to do better or do differently?
I think that, even though I haven't been around the club, that much, because the way that they, they meet, and I'm normally not around, but I have been able to pick up on some of the, how the club works. So I think that I would hold the money a little bit longer and see if we can maximize gain, and then maybe take out more money at a time. Because, even though not everyone's in the same situation, sometimes, we could have a set designation, like maybe every summer at this time, everyone takes out a certain amount of money. Or if we want to be really aggressive, and, sometimes you have to take a chance, and maybe we want to put a lot of money into this one stock. And if it profits, then we make a lot of money. But if it fails, then we still have some money that we had before to stay afloat. So I think I'll be more aggressive in some situations and keep more money and not take out as much, or have a set designation on when to take out money.
God, and I knew he had his own spin. I knew he had his own spin. I knew he had it. What determines the amount of the dues, and how much are normally monthly dues? We've got a question in the chat for that.
It all depends, Pastor. It all depends. I tell people, right? You don't invest in it. You don't agree on an amount that you can't stand to lose, right? Because there's a good chance you're going to lose that money, right? So if it's $50, $50. You all, it's best that everyone to contribute the same amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we started off our club with $50. Everyone's giving $50, and as I'm the main aggressive one. Every year we came along and vote, increase it. And like, let's vote. It's not enough. $50 not enough. And I hit a roadblock past that. $200, I ain't get them to move yet. They have refused. No matter
we are going no further.
And they vote. And so we've been at 200. I'm like, and my wife is the main one. No. I'm like, babe, we talked about this. She's the main one that's like, no, that's it. So we have not been able to get beyond that, because my premise is that the more we save, the more we can invest. And like Kamari said, my club, and Kamari picked a good point. I believe we take out money too much. I feel like if we left the money in longer, right? And for the first 5 years, I was able to withstand that. Now I'm just like, everybody like, let's take out every 2 years. Let's take out. So that's what we do every 2 years, and we vote and we decide to take out. So that's what they agree on.
Both of you have been so gracious with your time. I've got a couple things left in the time that we have left. Talk to us about, and then we're going to get to some of the questions. Talk to us about some of the financial literacy services and products that you have, and talk to me about, and Kamari, talk to me about Junior Wall Streeters and how to become a part of that and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so we offer Junior Wall Streeters is our nonprofit component, and as you mentioned, empowering youth with financial wellness. So what we do is we offer financial literacy summer camps, and this year we added 2 more. We had advanced stock analysis because some of the parents wanted more math, wanted it to be more challenging. So we added an advanced component that had charts and graphs and so forth in it. Then we also added real estate, introduction to real estate. And we taught the campers how to invest in real estate, commercial and residential. And I think if many Americans, many of us, our dream is owning our first home, owning a home. So we taught them about that importance of learning, like understanding credit and so forth, right? And then we also added a camp on Forex and cryptocurrency. You know, we don't want to. We're trying to catch the kids up. So right. So they learned about Bitcoin and some of the stuff they learned. I haven't even invested in Bitcoin yet. I'm still learning about it. But we want our campus to know. So, and Kamari participates in that. He does some teaching. He teaches. We signed our first contract this week actually with a nonprofit, and they work with kids in homeless shelters. And yesterday, Kamari joined me, and he taught a lesson to the kids. And every now and then he'll come in to interact with the kids. And Kamari, you want to talk about that part? What you normally teach?
Yeah, so I normally go in and I teach them about my portfolio, my ETFs and my stocks, and how I went through the process of finding out what stocks and ETFs to buy. One of the most important things that I stress is to invest or track what you know. And all of my ETFs and stocks have some connection to me, so that I know, so it's easier to track. And then I also tell them about how to track stocks. So how to track a stock to make sure, track the flows, if it's going good, if it's going bad, what to know when a stock's good to buy. And, Then I normally tell them, I give them strategies and which stocks, which ETFs, what are
Okay.
ETFs, and what are dividends, and so that's normally what I teach them.
What is, we got a question. So you said earlier that the club should have, a president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, did you say?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And that gives the organization. Now, when is your next junior, junior Wall Streeters camp, summer camp? Is that going on now, or you just finished one?
Yeah, we just finished one last week, and so now we're working on. Last week we ran 3 sessions, so so 6 weeks we ran 6 weeks of camps. So we're working on an adult weekend series. Yeah, so that will start in August. I'm just trying to gauge people to see who are interested. We tried something new last year. I wanted to do family, so I would like mothers and daughters and fathers and sons and stuff. It didn't really work out that well. We only had about four family members do it, but may try it again because I think it's important for adults to learn as well if they're interested. And so now we just sort of gearing up for that in the fall.
Great. So next Junior Wall Streeters summer camp, that'll be next summer.
Yes, we'll start that in June. That will start off in June, and we hope to have some camps in person this next summer, and definitely online. But hopefully we'll have those in person as well.
Okay. Here's what we want to be able to do, because we are a very generous church. I teach that. I believe that, the generosity of the church. What I want to do is, what we would like to do is sponsor one of our youth to the Junior Wall Streeters summer camp. And so we will, get some qualifications and the like and all of that. But next summer, we'd like to sponsor one of our youth. Now, what age range do you normally do?
So we start at 12. We go from 12 to like 20, 21. So we had a few students that were in college this summer. I say 12, Pastor, but we had some 11-year-olds this summer, man. I mean, one kid that was 11 knew more about crypto than I did. And it was just
wow,
just amazing. Yeah. So, but he was really interested. I mean, he told his mom that. So yeah, we'll take them at 11 if they're really interested. But our starting age is 12.
Okay, great. And so, when we do our generosity, the name of our church is Hope Fellowship, and it's Hope Shows Some Love. And so we're going to show some love and sponsor one of our young people to the camp. And so we look forward to that. And then please let us know about the weekend family pieces, because I know that we've got many people who would like to be a part of that. If I wanted to start a club, is there a resource that could walk me through it?
Yeah, we and thank you, Pastor, for agreeing. Pastor Faye was like dynamite, and I know she's listening. Her emails was just, and we need a lot of encouragement with this, because the journey is just like, we're trying to teach people that they need something that they don't know they need it. So it is challenging to say the least, man. I had many sleepless nights.
I can only imagine.
Yeah,
we're both in the business of trying to provide people what they know they need, but haven't decided that they want.
Yes. So on our website, Pastor, we have 2 components where I'll do all the legal work. I'll get you set up. I'll even run your meetings, first 6 meetings for you if you want. Or you can I can just do the legal paperwork and get you going. But either way, and Pastor, I do have a long-term goal with this. I should say that too. My vision is I want to get 10 investment clubs started in 5 years. I said 5. I probably need to bump it up because I only have 1 started so far. But I want us to come together and form like a super club and do. You really want to make some money, Pastor? church members, you really want to make some money, you do angel investing. That is where it is at. And we as African Americans do not get an opportunity to do that. So I want to like bring us all together, like just not a whole lot of people, just 10 clubs. And we say $10,000 each club, and we do angel investing. And that is where it is at. Risky, but in the long run, it is where it's at.
Okay. Good. Now you all are located
Northern Virginia.
Yes. Kamari, what is you're 14 now. Tell me what 18 looks like.
Hopefully when I'm 18, I'm playing baseball. And hopefully I'm either getting drafted into the MLB or I'm going to college. And hopefully that I'm continuing this financial literacy. Hopefully that my stock account and my portfolio, I think by now it should be probably over $50,000, and I'll probably have my first car. It won't be a Lamborghini, but it'll probably be a nice car. And maybe by then I'll be in my dad's investment club.
I love it. What position do you play?
I like to play shortstop and center field.
Okay. Two. I mean, you can't get more major than that in the outfield or the infield. So if you're holding down shortstop and center field, that's a beast. Listen, Kevon, Kamari, thank you all so very much. You've been very generous with your time. My light is going out, so I'm dark now. But it's awesome, man, and keep it up. Don't get discouraged. We need this like crazy, and we look to have you back. We really do. And because you brought up something at the end that I know everybody who's watching wants to know. It's like, okay, what is angel investing?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. But man, Thank you so very much to both of you. We appreciate you. And man, God's blessings upon what you're trying to do for our community.
You're welcome, Pastor, and thank you very much for having us. We enjoyed the time we had. Thank you.
God bless. God bless. So to all of our viewers, whether you're watching live or on demand, this is Hope Fellowship Church, the Victory Center, Daytona Beach, and this is our financial fitness, and I'm excited. Thank you, Pastor Faye, for once again providing a great program for us, and we will see you next month. God bless.